Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first off, I wanted to thank everybody for coming today, and also just they said this is Memorial Weekend, and to make it fun. So I don't have much fun beyond the coolies for the weekend, and the keychain is not just a keychain; it is a bottle opener. So we got some working together here with our tools today. So a little bit about myself. I've been in the mortgage industry for 11 years. Prior to that, I used to be the district fitness manager for 12 to 27 locations for 24 Fitness. So how many of you guys know what TMJ is? Yeah, so by the end of my career with 24 Fitness, I was taking about 10 Advils a day and working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. So I decided to get in an industry with less stress. Go figure, right? So, and that was in 2006. So even better time to get in the industry. But one of the best things about our industry, and hopefully you guys got in the industry for the same reasons, is that we have control over our own destiny. Regardless of where the market goes, it's going to change, right? That's our guarantee. And our guarantee is that once that changes, we have to adapt to the changes. So one of the reasons I work with Bay Equity Home Loans is that we are a direct agency bank. And what that means is that we go directly through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA and VA. But we also, because nobody fits in a box anymore, we also can broker loans as well for the banks, for those that need it. So what that allows us to do is take the client's assessment, figure out where they place, and make sure they put them in the right spot at the very beginning of the process. So I think that's very important for us. So I'm one of the branch managers, but where's Hajir? Hajir Najati in the back is also my branch partner in the Laguna Hills branch. Garrett, who's right in the middle with the camera, he happens to be our video guy. Surprise, surprise. He's also the one, if you saw that colorful collar in the front that says Bay Equity Home Loans, he's also our open house concierge. So we actually go out and we help our partners get more people to their open houses, but most importantly, because a high percentage of people that are looking for the house, that are looking at the house, might be looking for 6 to 12 months down the road. So he helps out with a follow-up. So that's very important. And also Corinne Josepher, who's also taping back there, she is our marketing manager. And right behind her is Sean Woolley, one of our other loan officers. So that's just a little bit about us. But what's the first question when people hear that I'm in the mortgage industry? What do you think they ask?
What are rates?
What are rates? And then where are they going? That's what they want to know, right? And I wish I had a crystal ball. Because a lot of what's going on right now in the industry and interest rates, it's all man-made. It's not a trend per se. It's what is happening in the global economy, what's happening in the U.S. economy, and then what are the next steps for the feds. And their next decisions are really with monetary policy. And what are they going to do with mortgage bonds? Are they going to start selling them off, or are they going to continue to hold them? So rather than talk about all of that as a mortgage person, because I think you guys get enough of that, here's where interest rates are projected to go for the next year. So you can see Fannie Mae projects it to stay around 4.2%. National Association of Realtors puts it up at 4.8 by the early next year, right? And I've seen a lot of projections over 5%. The biggest thing for people that we're working right now that are planning on selling or buying, this may be one of the best opportunities to get the lower cost of a home going forward. Because next month, the feds can get together, change that monetary policy, and what happens to this? Changes completely, right? So our job is to help inform those people that we're working with or might be looking down the road and enable them to make informed decisions for home buying. So what's the other question? With you guys, with real estate, do you guys get a lot of, is the bubble gonna happen? Are we in a housing bubble? And most of those people that I get that question from are renters. I'll be totally honest with you, it's renters because they're hoping there's a bubble, right? Because they said 2 years ago, we're going to get in a bubble. Last year, it was a bubble, and they're saying it again this year. And what we know with inventory right now, why are home prices going up? There's not much inventory. And so now as the summer months start, where more listings come up, they're hopeful again because more listings are starting to pop up. But do you guys know what the normal inventory in months is where you have the same amount of sellers and buyers? How many months? 5 to 6 months. Could you imagine the people that you have listings with, like their home lasting for 5 to 6 months? They would go nuts, right? But that's the normal market. And I think it's our responsibility to make sure that people that we're working with, buyers especially, are informed of that. That's part of the reason why there's not a bubble, okay? So as we move forward, here's the home projections. So this is a national number. So you'll see here 4.4% for 2017. We've already exceeded that, right? Year to date. I think we're 7 to 10% from last year. So 4.4% for 2017, but look where it is at 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Just because it's slowing down on depreciation doesn't mean that there's a bubble. And I'm sorry, I forgot one slide, so I think this is an important one. These two slides work together because affordability is what counts. That's what will cause the decline. The combination of interest rates and where home price is, right? Because that is the cost of home ownership. And so when wages can't meet the average on affordability, that's when we're going to start hitting the decline or slowdown. And so we have economists that are saying that's about 6%. When interest rates hit about 6%, then we'll start seeing more of an effect on where home prices may go, right? Do you guys agree with that? Right? So the next step that we have to do when we're talking with people is take, okay, here's home prices, here's interest rates. So what does that actually mean to me as far as the cost of home ownership? So one of the things that we do with every person that we work with is a mortgage consultation. And we go through these numbers, not necessarily this per se, but a structure of a mortgage analysis. So if you look from top to bottom, we have purchase price, we have loan amount. This is based on a 15% down payment. We have today's interest rates and the payment. The payment is including mortgage, and it's also including a 1.2% tax rate, property tax rate. Then also the tax benefit. How many people do you think, especially when we're working with first-time home buyers, go like, whoa? Because they understand that there's a tax benefit from home ownership, but they don't know how to apply it, right? I had somebody in last week, they said they're renting for $2,500, and that seems to be where their budget is always. When people come in, we go, what's your monthly budget that you want to stay within? Well, I'm renting for $2,500, so that means my budget for buying should be $2,500. And then we went through this tax benefit, and where their income was, they were benefiting about $600 a month. They increased their purchase price by $100,000. Just by that information to be able to make a wise decision on their next steps. The other standpoint is the cash to close. So one of the things, especially with first-time home buyers that we work with is, they've saved so hard to get that 5 to 10%, 3.5%, and then you're like, well, there's a little bit more to that as far as your cash to close, right? You have closing costs, you have prepaid items. So this is a form for us to educate people. But the premise of this slide is really going, okay, buy now at 4.25%, and let's say at a minimum, interest rates go up 0.25%, right? We saw projections higher than that, but let's see what happens to the cost of that home. So you can see at 4.625, the payment goes from $3,886 to $4,027. So it's an increase of $141 a month. So does that impact the amount that somebody can afford now? Yeah, and that's waiting, right? So now let's see if the rate stayed the same, but price goes up 4%. The minimum of those expectations from the previous slide. Well, now the price is $780 instead of $750. The interest rate's still 4.25%, and the cost goes up to $4,041. It's important for them to know. Their tax benefit goes up, right? Because they're paying more now, but that's the cost of waiting. Now, what if both happens? Rate and price increase. Well, now their payment's going up over $300 a month. And I'm telling you, this comes up so often because people don't get it. They don't understand the numbers, how and the impact it can be short-term and long-term from their home ownership goals. I had somebody call me yesterday. He said, I was looking a year ago, I was pre-approved, but I thought prices were going down. And now that same home is $75,000 more. Right? That's what we can help. We can change the interest rates because of market changes, but you can't change the house. And I think from our standpoint, that's really what the important factor is that when people buy, it's really about the house. Their timing is their timing. But if they find the house, let's find a way to get it done, right? And that's where we come in, helping as a partner with the realtors that we work with. So here's another slide. This is pertaining to that one person. So I do have come up pretty often is, hey, I have 10% down, I don't want to pay PMI, and I want to wait till I get 20%. So my next question is how long do you think it's going to take you to save 20%? Year plus down the road, right? So just as this example looks, look, they're paying $41.20 now. They put down 10% now at $75,000. Now, if the reason that the rate is 4.5 because that's a no PMI option, right? That's eliminating the PMI. That was their objection to start with. But they put down $75,000, and now the home a year from now, let's say, is $780. Interest rate's 4.625, It's only $164 difference in payment. But look how much more they put out of pocket. They doubled their cash to close, right? So these numbers help people make that decision, and that's what we do. So does anybody have any questions about this?
I have a question.
Yes.
The last slide when you were talking about appreciation, was that California appreciation or was it national appreciation?
The slide before, so this one? This is a national number. California's higher.
Right.
So California year to date is at 10%.
Right.
All of California, and it's projected to go up another 6%. So these are just the national numbers to kind of give a glimpse, because when we talk to people, we want to be able to, so again, the sales background. If people can handle the worst case of it, then they can decide to move forward. So I don't do rosy pictures. I don't do 10%. We don't do 5%. We do, okay, here's a 1/4%. Let's see what the cost is to your home ownership on your next step. All right. So one of the marketing pieces is on your desk right now. Corinne, our marketing manager, comes up with a monthly marketing flyer. So if you're interested in doing that, you can get in that once a month. You can email Corinne, and she can send that to you once a month as well. And if you have any questions down the road, let me know. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thank you.
The information